15 नवंबर 1989, ये है वो तारीख साज दिन जिसको क्रिकेट देखने वाले लोग नहीं भुला पाते, खाली हिंदुस्तान में नहीं बल्कि पूरी दुनिया में। क्योंकि इस दिन जन्म हुआ था क्रिकेट की स्टेज पर एक ऐसे जगमगाते सितारे का जो कि उस वक्त बिल्कुल स्कूल बॉय लगता था। और मैं आपको अपनी कथा बताऊं, अपनी स्टोरी बताऊं कि मैं भी स्कूल बॉय था और जिस तरह से उसने खेला, इमरान, वसीम, वकार जैसे वर्ल्ड क्लास बॉलर्स को, तो हमें भी कुछ हौसला हुआ। इस हौसला देने वाले खिलाड़ी को सचिन तेंदुलकर कहते हैं। और उनकी कथा, उनकी स्टोरी बताने वाले हमारे साथ आज जो हमारे मित्र मौजूद हैं, वो हैं मुंबई से ऑल द वे। वेलकम करूंगा महेश कुट्टी जी का, जो कि बहुत जबरदस्त किताब लिख चुके हैं और क्रिकेट की बहुत सारी कथाएं उन्होंने दुनिया को दी हैं। बहुत शुक्रिया महेश जी आपका हमें ज्वाइन करने का।
Thank you very much, Basit, for having me on your show. And yeah, as much as you want, I can talk about Sachin Tendulkar because, like you, we've also followed his career right from his age of 16 till the time he retired. And like what you said, at that age to go out and play against Imran, Wasim, and Waqar was itself a nightmare for established batsmen. For a young boy who had hardly played pace of that level to go out and perform, and I still remember the half century that he scored at Sialkot was on an absolute green top was brilliant.
Because he was so young and I was schoolboy myself, so I could actually relate with him. मैंने बोला हम जाके उधर खेलते थे टेबल क्रिकेट, तो उसमें थोड़े बड़े लड़के आते थे कॉलेज के, हम स्कूल में थे, तो एक दो बड़े फास्ट बॉलर्स थे। पाकिस्तान में आपको बहुत अच्छे फास्ट बॉलर्स मिलते थे उस वक्त भी, तो हमारे लिए मुश्किल था, सिमट का पिच था। तो वहां पे उसको देख के बड़ा हौसला आया, हमने बोला ये खेल लेते हैं। ही हैड सच एन इम्पैक्ट, स्पेशली वी हैड नेवर सीन। एक तो वो है थोड़े शॉर्ट स्टेचर का है, और he had always that school boy look। वो आज तक उसकी इनोसेंस और उसकी जो पवित्रता है शायद अंदर की, वो बाहर आती है। बड़ा सिंपल है। एंड द काइंड ऑफ करियर ही हैड, कंट्रोवर्सी फ्री, हैट्स ऑफ, फिनोमिनल।
Phenomenal. Like, yeah, apart from the fact that on the field and off the field, he's managed the whole thing very well. I mean, like what you rightly said, no controversies. He's got his bat do all the talking. He would never make an unnecessary statement. So these were some of the reasons why Tendulkar was adorable to a lot of people when he was playing. He still has huge following, not only in India but around the world.
आपने कुछ स्टोरी जैसी शेयर की है जो शायद बहुत कम लोगों ने सुनी हो। व्हाट अबाउट दैट गैरी कर्स्टन कथा?
Okay, so Sachin Tendulkar normally what he would do is before a big tournament like the 2003 World Cup or the 2011 World Cup, he wouldn't do any net practice. He wouldn't play in the nets. All that he asked would be to give him some throwdowns, and so somebody would give him a few throwdowns, and that's all that he did. He never took a net practice kind of a session. So
फिनोमिनल।
yeah, so in 2011, as a preparation for the World Cup, he asked Gary Kirsten to give him a few throwdowns. So Gary had no problem. Gary always. So there's another story which says that when Gary was playing against Sachin Tendulkar, that is when South Africa was playing against India and he was in the covers, he would be mesmerized with Sachin Tendulkar's strokes that Hansi Kroenke had to time and again remind him that he's standing there at cover to stop the ball and not just admire Tendulkar's strokes. So he was such a big fan of Tendulkar. So he started giving him throwdowns. After about 15 or 20 throwdowns, every throwdown met the absolute sweet spot of the bat. Tendulkar asked Gary Kirsten whether he found anything not proper when he was playing. So Gary Kirsten thought long and hard and told him, I think your head was a little above where it should, I mean, slightly above. I mean, otherwise everything was okay. So then Tendulkar went up to him and told him, you know what, I've been playing with my eyes closed. Gary Kirsten was shocked. How can somebody play with his eyes closed? So what Tendulkar said was that just when he was about to release the ball, he would close his eyes, knowing exactly where the ball would come, and he would
वाह,
go and play that stroke. I
वाह।
mean, so you just go. It just goes to show the understanding of the game, the understanding of batting that Tendulkar had. I don't think too many people in world cricket had it.
Oh, that's one amazing tale. Honestly, लोग बहुत ज्यादा जो है ना, आई थिंक और इंस्पायर होने जा रहे हैं वो लोग जिन्होंने सचिन को देखा, नहीं सिर्फ रिकॉर्ड्स के लिए देखते हैं। वो मिलेनियल एक जनरेशन जिन्होंने पैदाइश उनकी तब हुई जब सचिन जो है वो रिटायर हो चुके थे, या सचिन के लास्ट प्लेइंग।
Last 2 years, correct.
हाँ जी,
Yeah.
हाँ जी। तो वो उन्होंने वो सचिन का पीक नहीं देखा। ये बताएँ कि जब आप सचिन से मिले, जब आपने उनको किताब दी थी, तो अ, कितना फ़र्क था जब उससे पहली दफ़ा आप कभी मिले हों? अ, हैज़ द मैन चेंज्ड एवर, या ही हैज़ बीन द सेम?
So I have met him both the times I've met him is after his retirement, but I haven't found anybody more humble than
रियली?
Sachin Tendulkar. Imagine the guy has created all kinds of records, right?
हुँ,
He is considered as the god of cricket, not only in India but around the world. People have high opinion about him. People love him, but that has not changed Sachin Tendulkar as a human being. He's still very grounded. He treats you with a lot of respect, and he's got a lot of interest while talking about cricket. And let me tell you one more thing, Basit. He remembers every single dismissal of his right through his 24 years of his cricketing career. That is phenomenal. You ask him, okay, this is a dismissal. He will tell you where the ball was bowled, why he played a particular shot, how did the fielder catch it. I mean, it is incredible. It is not that he's played only 10 innings. If anybody would have played 10 innings, he would definitely remember the 10 innings. This guy has played 200 test matches, 400 plus one-day international, and he remembers every single dismissal. So according to me, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's not a normal human being can even think about.
या आई कैन टोटली अंडरस्टैंड। वो आप जिस वेवलेंथ पे बात कर रहे हैं, ये बताइए कि व्हाट अबाउट सचिन तेंदुलकर एज़ अ टी20 प्लेयर? क्योंकि लोगों ने, जिन्होंने आईपीएल में उसको देखा, तो ऑब्वियसली ही हैड दोज़ बैक इश्यूज, एंड ऑब्वियसली एट दैट स्टेज ऑफ द एनीबॉडीज करियर, वो थोड़ा फेड आउट जो भी हो रहे होते हैं। दो वी हैड दोज़ ब्रिलियंसेस कमिंग फ्रॉम सचिन हियर एंड देयर, बट स्टिल जो लोग अभी नहीं क्रिकेट को जो है उस वक़्त देखते थे, तो उनको आप कैसे बताएँगे कि सचिन एज़ अ टी20 प्लेयर कैसा होता अपने पीक पे?
See, at his peak, he was incredible because he had all the shots in the book. Another thing that one should always remember is that Sachin Tendulkar had multiple surgeries. I mean, he had surgeries in his back, his elbow, his toe. I mean, every part of his body went under the knife, which also meant that there were certain strokes that he couldn't play after surgery. So probably the pull or something like that, he would have to think twice before playing. And by the time T20 came into being, that was sometime around 2007, 2008, Tendulkar was well past his prime. He was towards his fag end of his cricketing career. But he still played IPL for a few years for the Mumbai Indians. He did score a century also in the IPL. So, but definitely, if the T20 format would have been there during the period of 1998 to 2000. That was a period when Tendulkar did no wrong. We remember those two brilliant centuries he scored at Sharjah. He was fantastic at that point of time. Maybe he would have been a far more lethal player in T20 had the format come probably about 10 years before. I think by the time T20 came in, it was 2008. We all know Tendulkar retired at 2013. He had played enough of cricket. So I wouldn't be able to tell you how effective he would have been, but knowing him and knowing his ability, I have no reason not to believe that he would have been a phenomenal batsman even in T20.
Absolutely. I concur, because I have seen him destroying the bowling attacks, like जिस तरह T20 में भी शायद अभी हम उसको नहीं देख पाते हैं। उस टाइम लाइव देखना और होता है, और अब हाइलाइट्स में देखना कुछ और होता है। एनीवेज,
Correct.
एक ऐसा कंपैरिजन है जो बनता ही बनता है, और वो चलता रहेगा, और वो है विराट कोहली का। बिकॉज नाउ एक ऐसा रिकॉर्ड है जिसके बारे में सोचा जाता था कि शायद ये कभी टूट नहीं सकता। तो विराट हैज़ कम रियली रियली क्लोज। और थोड़ा बताएं कि विराट कोहली जो है, वो उसका अगर हम सचिन से कंपैरिजन करें, तो कहाँ आप उसको देखते हैं? ये एप्पल ऑरेंजेस वाली बात भी नहीं है, बट एट द सेम टाइम आप क्या करें, क्रिकेट गेम ऐसा है कि वो स्टोरीज के साथ स्टैट्स पे भी चलता है। तो अब ये स्टैट्स ऐसे हैं, तो सवाल मेरा यहाँ पे ये है, महेश जी, के क्या इस रिकॉर्ड को तोड़ने के बाद वो सचिन से ग्रेटर बैट्समैन कंसिडर किए जा सकते हैं?
Well, in white ball cricket, I think Virat Kohli is right up there. Make no mistake of it. But cricket has changed. If you look at cricket, maybe about 15 years back, and cricket that's being played today, there's a huge difference. Cricket in 2007-8, 250 would have been a very good score. But today, you need to score 350 to be safe, which means things have changed. The quality of bats have changed. The approach and the attitude of batsmen have changed. So it's not very fair for us to compare these two legends. But having said that, let me tell you, I'm a huge Virat Kohli fan also, and I believe that he will, at the end of the day, he will definitely go ahead of Tendulkar, at least in the one-day centuries kind of thing. But I don't think he'll be able to reach Tendulkar's test match record of 51 centuries. Having said that, also another thing that one needs to needs to remember is that Virat Kohli took up cricket looking at Sachin Tendulkar. So at no point of time will he ever say that he was a greater player than Sachin Tendulkar, because for him Tendulkar has been the biggest reason why he took up cricket. So to me, it's very unfair to compare cricketers from different eras, because cricket is changing rapidly. 10 years down the line, probably a Shubman Gill might get as many records of Virat Kohli as possible, because cricket is changing fast and changing really fast, right? So, but if one format that hasn't changed much, it is Test cricket, because there is a little bit of sanity there in Test cricket. I mean, people just don't go out and start hitting for the first ball. So maybe Test cricket is probably a benchmark that you could judge both of them by saying that how good is Virat and Sachin when it comes to Test cricket. And I think in Test cricket, maybe Sachin Tendulkar is definitely ahead of Virat Kohli.
या इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। आपके कमेंट्स हमें बताएंगे कि आप कहाँ अपना वेटेज डालते हैं।